Oops, I did it again. That's the second time. I did that last week too. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Harry Man Hoaxes and Hoodwinks. And got a great show for you again tonight. And let's see who we've got in our chat tonight. We've got I don't think I can go through it all tonight. But of course, we have Cindy. Welcome. Jimmy Blanton. Welcome. Nice to see you, Sandra, Donald, Brian, and Chewy. Good to see you guys here. Gary Johnson, My Eyes. Always good to see you. And Brandy and the Reverend Jeffrey Kelly in the house. So let's go ahead and we're going to start this thing and bring on, of course, I have to do something here, and that's I have to activate the twin powers to bring on Brent Dill. Welcome.
Ooh, that was quite the intro there. Seeing me in spandex like that? Ooh, I don't know.
I was going to put sound to it and everything, but I don't know what happened. It would not work. I could not get that thing to work today.
Great new intro. Great new intro too, by the way. I really like that. That was awesome. Very good.
Thank you. I finally got tired of the old one. So I thought, well, I'm going to change it up completely and worked on it. So I got a new outro too, but it's kind of the same thing, just different music.
Oh, good job.
I had to change it up a bit. But without further ado, I am going to introduce you to members of the North Carolina Squatch Watchers. Yay!
Yeah, woo. We need to get sound effects.
Yeah, I do. I have that music, but it's so lousy. Anyway, I'd like to bring on Mr. David Martin.
Hey.
Welcome, David, to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
You here. And I'm going to bring on Tate Fulbright and Taylor Cook.
What up? How's it going?
Welcome to the show, guys.
So Howdy.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Oh, definitely. So I have brought you here today to explain something that had happened. And that happens a lot in the Bigfoot community. And that's when people jump the gun and maybe try to call people out as hoaxers or hoodwinkers before they've even gone through and checked the evidence.
Yeah.
Got all the facts.
Before they've gotten all the facts. So recently, well-known YouTuber by the name of Parabreakdown, Phil Poling, somebody who I've watched for years, had come out with a video full on saying that you guys hoaxed one of your videos in regards to how did he say he called it something editing an editing screw up. Yeah. That's what he called it. And I was shocked when I first came up on that. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? And when you go to his and matter of fact, all of these videos are linked down in the description. So if anybody wants to go there to see what we're talking about, they're going to be linked there. I have them up here too, but I'm like, he didn't even get anything but a little snippet of Dave throwing
Yeah.
a rock.
That David
And-
clearly states, "I'm throwing a rock."
Yeah. Yeah. So
Not.
It's a big rock too.
right.
It was nice enough to label the rock.
And but anyway, before we get going on that roller coaster of what happened that day, you guys investigate an area there in North Carolina. And I had to look it up because I didn't know where. Now, I assumed you guys were near the water, and I didn't realize that you guys are further west, correct?
We're near a
Yep,
body
we're-
of water, but not the ocean. Yeah.
Where are you?
We're in, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go, David. Go ahead.
We're in greater western North Carolina. To give you kind of a thumbprint of it, we would be in the Appalachian Mountains.
Okay,
We're
right.
in we're in the foothills of that. So
Okay.
so the broadest area we can tell you without pinpointing would be South Mountain State Park.
Okay. Which now that I look at it, I guess I never really studied the map, but that makes sense, that you would be over there on that end of that mountain range. So that's great. But although I've heard the whole state is pretty well known for sightings.
Yeah,
Pretty active.
I actually looked at a map the other day of like sightings in just the United States and North Carolina. I didn't know was like covered. I was like, what?
Completely covered. Wow. Yeah. But how did you guys start? When did you guys how long have you been together doing this?
Go ahead, Dave.
Taylor, oh. Okay, so we've been doing this since maybe 2011, 2012, somewhere around in there. Taylor, what, you hear something there? You might want to check downstairs. We have something going on downstairs. But Taylor's fresh out of high school. I was working a job and just heard somebody talking about a group of people going hunting Bigfoot on their property. And I called bunk on it, didn't believe it. And next thing you know, I'm invited. And on that first trip, Taylor wasn't with me the very first time I went. He was there on the second one. And I don't know that we've hardly missed one since. And so, 10, 12 years now, we just been going hard at it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And have you guys seen Bigfoot down in your guys' area?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I haven't saw like what people like give them classes. I haven't seen a class A. Only thing that I've considered that I'd seen a Sasquatch me clear as day. Me and my wife were leaving the property one night, and she's like, "I feel sorry that we're leaving David in the woods." And I forgot to tell this on Sasquatch Chronicles a couple weeks ago. And she's like, "I feel sorry we're leaving David in the woods because a week prior to that we found a print and all this, and David was fully invested for like 2 weeks straight. He was there every day. So we went there, and I felt sorry for David. And I'm not gonna lie, we're more worried about smaller creatures attacking David more than a Bigfoot. So I gave David my little 380 pistol, and I was like, man, this is the only protection I have. Good luck against coyotes. And me and my wife left, and we were only dating at the time. And we were going down the road. She's like, I feel sorry we left David there. She's like, because look at this crazy dude right here walking on the road. All of a sudden, this thing takes 2 steps, 1, 2, clears the road. All we seen is like eyes. We're not 100% fit a Sasquatch, but it was bipedal. Clears the road in like 2 or 3 steps, and we leave. We come back to get David. We take him to the spot, and there was a path cleared out in the high grass where the thing had taken. And she actually claims she's seen a Sasquatch that night too. So that's my only but it was dark, but it was about 6 foot tall from what I looked. So it was pretty cool.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah. I've watched those videos, and that area is really thick.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's very thick.
That's the Appalachian Mountains. It's It's a pretty thick one there. That's goes all the way from north or south to north, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
It runs the width of the entire state. So
Yeah.
Oh, nice. It's a good corridor area for them.
Oh, absolutely.
well, we have a major river that splits our main hunt property, and we've been on this same site now. I mean, we do hunt other sites, but we're here more than anywhere else, and we kind of got into a routine, and I think that's one of the reasons we're so successful in what we do is they pretty much know when and where we're going to be, and they just want to show up to see the show too. But we have major rivers that supply the area where we're at, and just this past week, we saw clear evidence where they were crossing the river. Tate actually found a partial print going into the Henry River, so we're forever finding more evidence to support what we're saying is true. Because at this point we're too far invested to try to make stuff up.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want a rot to ruin our reputation.
Yeah.
I mean, right? It's easy for me to say, these guys would never hoax anything because even though I've only met you guys once in person, but we've had interactions, through the online and stuff.
Yeah.
But I know about your deep faith and your integrity, and that there's no way that would allow you guys to do any type of hoax or anything fraudulent to the community whatsoever. And
Absolutely.
and that was real important that I felt needed to come out, is that does make a difference. Knowing
for us,
knowing
everything.
Right. So Joe from Western New York Bigfoot is saying, so what's the hubbub? What happened? What's going on? So I'm not on the right. Okay.
It was a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
By not collecting enough information for the conclusion that was reached.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what happened.
So it's my understanding that Phil was actually sent the clip.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
He just took the clip, but
because I'm not sure if Phil is very familiar with your guys' YouTube channel, because ever since I've came across your guys' video, I've heard multiple people mention that you guys throw rocks is a fairly common part of your guys' investigation, and I don't think Phil was very aware of that. And I just think the way that the edit was, and him not being familiar with your guys' investigation style, that he formed a conclusion that was probably maybe gave to him by the person that sent him the thing, and it's a good it's a good learning experience for us all. And because I came across your guys' video through Phil's video too, and I was like, whoa, very convenient rock throw right there. So it's kind of accusatory towards you guys, but once you guys really did the follow-up video, I was like, man, I was such an ass. So it's a good learning experience for myself, for not to just jump the gun and be like, oh yeah, you guys are hoaxing and stuff, because it's very good. And this is a really good lesson for us all to make sure we collect all the information before we draw a conclusion to it.
Thank you. And I'm going to talk about something that Taylor's going to know all too well. So we've taken all kinds of things into the woods to exchange and to let these beings know that we mean no harm, and we really just want to know and understand. One of the most spectacular hunts that we've ever had on film, we actually took potatoes with us one night. Mm-hmm. And you guys want to talk about if you can hoax this, you guys tell me how. But when you're throwing potatoes into the woods, kind of as an offering, and those potatoes come back to you, that was an interesting night. But the sad part is we had a party that was with us that night, one individual, that we believe we could not account for his whereabouts in part of the filming. And we had such an incredible encounter, and we went back and if we're going to put it out there, it's got to be 100% authentic. Right or wrong, we have to believe that what we're putting out there is true, correct, and real. If not, you'll never see it. Ergo, no one ever saw this video, and it was one of the best hunts we'd ever had.
Yeah.
Now, there was a lot of authentic interaction on that hunt, but one silly prank mistake from someone who is not allowed back on the property because of this video. That's how serious we took it. We can't show anybody because we can't with 100% authenticity know that everything prior to that point in the video was real either.
Yeah.
So and when you go every week, there's times when we went twice, 3 times a week, and you're investing 5, 6, 7 hours at a whack, 2 or 3 times a week of your sleep and your time with your family. And then you're going to put it out there for the public to look at it. Now, we're going to have people question it, and that's great. We love skeptics.
Yeah.
We're always open for debate. And you're always going to have trollers that don't like the way we do something, didn't like what we said or how we filmed it or how we handled evidence. We're not experts by any stretch of the imagination. But to be called outright liars and hoaxers, that's a little tough. That one kind of got me. So we took it a little more personal.
Yeah, and only thing that like irked us about it, we've never had any of this happen until we went on to the. I don't know if you mind me just name dropping. We went on to Sasquatch Chronicles, and our subscribers were taking a huge we were gaining subscribers during all this, and we were told by our good friend, I'm not going to mention any names, who told us this, said after you do this podcast, you're going to have people come at you, and sure enough, during this whole thing, here it was, our first one. Yep. We think it was more of, was he jealous that we got on there and he didn't? I don't know. It just, the coincidences and just the odds of that happening. He guessed it right. He said there's always going to be haters out there, and there's always just, and it's true. It's true.
Well, it might not be a hater. It just might be somebody who's really invested in finding out what's actually going on, and so it's it might be something like that too.
Yeah.
Right.
Because being on that show opens you up to so many more people that are really diligent about verifying if what's being said and done, and they're probably examining every video that you guys put out since, with a fine-tooth comb, trying to find some slip up.
Yeah.
Well, there's a positive side to it. Just like you said earlier, you saw us for the first time through that video, calling us, basically a hoax. And you admitted that it was poor investigation. There was not enough follow-up, and we all agree with that. And we're not really difficult to get a hold of. I mean, we're pretty much
reach out to us.
We want to hear the same thing from him as we heard from you. Hey, it was a mistake, and man, shame on us. But wow, when you start looking at our content, man, I mean, I don't know that it gets any more real, or honest and open as we are. And when it's dead and we're having fun, we're having fun because we tell everybody. When we're having a blah night and there's just it's quiet and there's no activity. Yep, we're going to step off the trail and see if we can't make one of the other pee in our britches. Okay. But it's all on camera for everybody to see. We're not trying to pass it off as a Bigfoot encounter. We're just trying to get the public to laugh at each other. Look, he just scared poor Taylor to death, or they once in a while they get me. And when they can scare me, that's the funny stuff, because I can't hold it back. So we have fun at what we do, and we want people to see the family content that we have, the realness behind it, and we are really a band of brothers. And if that doesn't show in our videos, I don't know what does.
Well, there's even evidence on some of our videos where one of us makes a whoop or a call unexpectedly, and then you see the other one get scared. Like, it happens. And, we laugh about it. We laugh when we do it.
And we try to go back and debunk anything. So people have been saying, hey, the video we posted last week, the dog that the owner's claiming the dog got his eye knocked out by Bigfoot. We investigated. It does look like it could be like that, but people are saying they're seeing eye shine all around that video. We're probably going to do a follow-up on that. There could be some eye shine, but there was a lot of, we were in a patch of woods, and there was about what, David, 10 trailers surrounding that area of woods. So
there were multiple houses around that valley that could contaminate.
Yeah.
Right. Joe says, I'll ask the hard question straight out. Did you guys hoax a rock throw?
No.
Okay, check this out.
Yeah.
Go look at the video we posted from Friday night. I watched it for the first time today, and we had something that we don't normally get. Tate actually had the camera rolling. We were just rolling the camera just to have it going. We weren't really expecting anything. When out of nowhere, when the rock hits the top of the golf cart, you can watch me turn around to ask Tate, hey, I thought maybe he popped the top of the cart to scare us because, brother, it worked. And he's like, no, that wasn't me. And we're all excited because we've got interaction. When we watch the video, you get to hear the rock hit the top of our little golf cart, and then you see it fly off to the front left-hand side of me out towards a tree right there on the trail where we're going down to the Henry River. We actually retrieved that rock. You can't fake that. We were riding on a golf cart. We can't throw a rock at ourselves while driving a golf cart. Absolutely not. It's impossible. And I was calling Tate, going, did you see the video? Did you? I didn't know we caught the rock too being thrown in the video. That's a rarity. We've only had that happen twice. That's the second time that I'm aware of.
I saw that video, and you guys jump out, and then you leave that poor girl all by herself back there by the cart. I'm like, you left her. And you yell back at her, you okay? And she's like, yeah.
She's brave. We did eventually go back and get her, and then she walked with us to investigate the trail that we found that had been opened up. So
yeah, she walked up and down the trail with us.
Yeah. I did see that, and it was loud even on the video, so I can't imagine being underneath that and hearing that big old thud.
I'm just glad it didn't hit me.
I think, I just hate that. No, I don't really, because let's see, we've been in the woods for probably 10 weeks straight. And I got my first off night to spend time with my wife on a Friday, and they get a rock on the camera, so I was pretty jealous over that.
Have you guys ever been hit by a rock or by pine cones or anything while you're out investigating?
Yes.
There's a video. My wife's sitting beside of me. That's why she's holding the baby. So there's a video of her getting hit in the leg by a stick. It's one of the older ones, and then David got hit with a dirt clod.
Yep. See, and I actually, it wasn't on film when it happened, and I was I was mad because I thought that one of the people that we were out hunting with was punking me. And as we started investigating, we realized that it was impossible for them to have punked me with this dirt clod, and it was thrown from quite a distance. And we were very fortunate that it hit the frame of the cart we were on, because it didn't have a canopy on it, just had a frame, and it dispersed it. Had it would have hit one of us in the head, we would have been injured. And that's why I always say, as many rocks as we've had thrown us, we've had rocks thrown at us that weigh in excess of probably 6 pounds. Okay. So if they wanted to hurt us, they would have. But we've had multiple guests that have been pelted with pebbles, small twigs and sticks and things like that. And we hear things that could sound like pine cones, moving around. So, babe, you might want to check it out for me. I'm sorry, I got stuff going on downstairs. So.
Okay,
Trying to keep quiet behind the scenes.
You guys don't just investigate Bigfoot. You investigate ghosts and aliens and other things that you're trying to bring the best evidence forth.
Yeah.
But have you always, when searching for Bigfoot, brought in that paranormal side into the Bigfooting when you first started? Was that always a factor that you were also investigating, or did you keep it? Like, I tend to keep the Bigfoot and the paranormal kind of separated, but I want to know what you guys did. Have you always? Well, I know you have videos of orbs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
I've always told people, and then I'll let Tate and David take this one. I've always told people, because until I actually see one straight, I mean, we found prints, we found everything. Until I actually see one clear as day in front of me, I always tell everyone either these woods have a Bigfoot or really, really strong poltergeist activity, because something is out there throwing these rocks one way in and one way out. So that's me. Then I'll let those guys know.
Well, to me, it's just, I can speak for myself. My mind has been changed here lately about what exactly a Bigfoot is. And if David wants to explain the backstory of that, he's welcome to. But for me, some of our last few hunts we've had, there's no explanation for a Bigfoot being physically present there, if that makes sense. So we're not sure if we're dealing with interdimensional beings or if Bigfoot is just a physical, tangible creature like everything else. We're not really sure. And David, you can dive in that if you wish, but I know you kind of like to keep that private at times. So it's up to you if you want to share that whole theory.
You know, the longer we're involved in it, okay, so let's start out by answering your question as it was at face value. In the initial beginning, yes, everything was separated. You know, I'm very, very reluctant on the paranormal side of things. From a biblical standpoint, you really need to be very careful. And I urge anyone, before they want to start diving into that area, to study your scriptures, to make sure that you know what you're doing, because you can open doors that are very difficult to close, if not impossible. So I'm not going to talk about a lot of that just simply because you don't want to give certain things power. But there are scriptures that have on 2 occasions where people who have clearly been deceased were called from their slumber. That means their ghost was called. Okay. So now you ask me, do I believe in ghosts? Well, yes, because the Bible says so. I clearly believe in spirits and demons because the Bible says so. How do you keep it separated as we go? The more we get involved, it's difficult because the lines have become blurred. What we once thought Bigfoot was nothing more than an animal. Okay. Now I'm not so sure. Honestly, I don't know. And through study, through just going to church, listening to my pastor, different preachers speak on different things, you know, you get glimpses and you think, God, are you talking to me? Are you trying to lead me in a direction? I honestly don't know. But if, you know, and I'll put this out there to anybody listening to this podcast, everyone has to make a decision in this life. We clearly don't hide our Christian faith, okay? I believe in Christ. He is my Savior. I gave my life to Him when I was 16. I don't denounce my faith. So having said that, there are so many things that happen right in front of us that we do not know. There is a battle right now waging all around us between good and evil, okay? The Bible says we all have our own guardian angels. There's no way for us to make it through this world and the difficulties that we face every day without them. Okay. So my faith tells me they're real, even though I've never seen one. Have I interacted with one? Absolutely. I can look back on times in my life and go, that had to have been an angel. Okay. That had to have been someone that God sent to intervene in that time in my life, or either I would not have survived it physically, or I would have perished, or I would have made such poor decisions that it would have scarred me for life, and maybe I would have wound up in jail or made poor decisions that I could never escape from. So, because I don't want to get too deep and tell people too much, but we all know that in our walks that the longer you do something, the more wisdom you gain. Bigfoot has to be a very wise creature, because if he was dumb, he would be interacting with us. Okay. And that's probably the worst thing that they could do, is to just sit down and start talking. Okay. Everyone would want something from them all the time. I believe they have something to offer us. I believe they have a message, a gift. I don't know. One day I hope that I get to be close enough to just touch a Sasquatch. I've been told by the Cherokee people that I do not want to do that. They won't tell me why, just that it's not a good idea. But see, I've got this overwhelming desire and sense of security to think that when I do, I'm going to somehow know more than I know now without having a word spoke to me. Is that true? I don't know. I can't offer anybody an explanation other than just it's a feeling. But I do know that there are things that we can't see. Tate said interdimensional. This is your podcast. What do you believe about interdimensions? Do you believe they exist?
Well, I believe, for me, I believe that there are spirits and ghosts and residual effects from things that have happened on this earth and have left their mark forever.
Yes.
And, but for me, I've always thought of Bigfoot, that type of cryptid, as just a flesh and blood being. But that's because I've never had an experience out in the woods where I've even had the idea that that orb was related to a Bigfoot, or that I saw something go through the woods and I don't know if it was a Bigfoot or a deer. I haven't had that moment in my life that has made me doubt or put the two in the same, frame. But I know a lot of people who have. And I know a lot of people who had started out just believing in the flesh and blood, but now have other ideas.
It is such a confusing question. And you'll hear people say, well, I am an expert in this field. I don't know that I'm an expert on any of it. I just know that I thought I had things figured out in the beginning. And then, 4 or 5 years in, I'm pretty sure I had a mindset of this is just an animal, and we're eventually going to get, forensic proof. And then now I'm 11 plus years in, 12 years in, and I'm going, I don't know that we're ever going to get what we think we are out of this. For the same reason that there's not an angel laying on a laboratory table for everyone to biopsy and look at and say, oh, this is real proof of angelic presence, as the Bible says. We have to accept that by faith. I don't know what part Bigfoot plays in the angelic realm, but I do know that the Bible speaks very clearly in the beginning, in the book of Genesis, that God created the earth after the war in heaven. And I didn't realize that. The war in heaven happened first, and the earth was created. And then it clearly says Lucifer, who was the most beautiful of all angels, who led a third of the angels to war against God in heaven. Lucifer is the little g, G-O-D, little g, God of two worlds. And it says he can walk between hell and earth. And so how I look at that is Earth is the prison gate that houses the dimension of hell. Okay? How it works, I do not know. But the Bible says that there are demons that are allowed to walk between the two worlds. So it has to be interdimensional if that's to be true, which I believe. So if that's the case, what if some of the creatures that were once angels, and if you read the description of angels in the Bible, some were divine, some were terrifying, some were so beautiful they were hard to look at. There were warring angels, there were avenging angels. So I'm sure some of the angels might have been pretty scary. Okay, so who am I to say that a Bigfoot is just not simply an angel that walked out of hell and said that, you know, I hate that I did what I did against God, and I'm just going to come out here and I'm going to live the best life I can until it's all over with, and I'll accept my judgment at that time. But it says that some of the demons that, you know, once they were cast into hell, their title got changed from angel to demons. That some of the demons were so vile that they were locked in hell, never to be released. Some of them, not all of them. So the more I study, the more I think about it, the more I interact, the more strange things that we have happen to us when we're on these hunts. I don't know what to believe anymore. But the more I get into it, the more I'm convinced that there has to be some type of interdimensional, there has to be a veil. There has to be something that we can't see beyond, that we're not meant to. But I think if you study hard enough and if you look hard enough, every now and again, you get a glimpse. And I think we've come as close as anybody I know out there to getting that glimpse. And if my guys disagree, they can tell you, but they've both been recently exposed to something that they never thought they would see. And how do you define it? How do you tell it to people without sounding nuts? It's hard. And we put that out there as the truth. So if anyone wants to come at us and say we're doing this just for fame and glory, well, A, there's no money in it. B, it's cost us dearly. Okay, we've all paid a toll to be Bigfoot hunters. Okay, we've all sacrificed to be in this field. There's no money in it. So for what reason other than our own faith and our own curiosity would we have to hoax anything that we do? To make up stuff that's so outlandish that people would call us liars. That in itself tells you that we truly believe what our statements are and what we're putting on video. And if it doesn't, then we're clearly doing it wrong.
Right. And you know, it more and more, it's become where the Bigfoot community has completely separated into very different types of cliques and niches where you have just their flesh and blood and nothing else, and I don't want to talk about anything else. And then anybody who does believe in any type of interdimensional or other being becomes the woo, and the woo has become a bad word, you know. And I think that some of that actually had a place with Phil believing, you know, that once later on in the video in question, you know, you talk about portals, and that immediately sometimes triggers people. You know, if they're talking about that, then they're not real. Then they're
well, it takes us back to Matt Johnson and his portal claims with Adam Davies, which a lot of people discredit as not actually happening. So portal really has gotten a bad rap in the last many years, just from that one dude.
Right.
And see, and I'm not aware of any of that. We've just been made aware of the whole concept of portals here. I'm going to say, not saying we might not have heard about it, but we might not have thought about it as seriously as we have within the last 6 months. And the one thing I'm really bad at, oh gosh, is if I'm told not to do something, I'm more apt to do it than not. So, you know, if there is such a thing, I'm going to step through it. I'm going to want to see. And if I disappear, no one sees me again, then you know it was real. If I don't, then we're still searching for this whole portal theory.
Right.
You know, but
Well-
we've seen some hinky stuff in the woods that we can't explain.
Brent, were you going to say something?
Yeah, with the whole portal thing, you know, it's always been around, but it's been more prevalent in the last like 5-7 years or so. And this guy talks about having portal demons come out and you know, try and attack the people that was there, and they were able to use flashlights to make the portal demons and portal itself disappear. He is speculating that he went to like this vortex house of magic, and that gave him some juju to go open up this this portal that he eventually created a Tesla machine. This other dude created a Tesla machine type of thing and opened up the portal. So there's like 20-something thousand entities that came into our realm, I guess. I mean, I don't know, but it's been around. But have you guys seen any sort of portal type thing opening up, or because that should probably produce some sort of light source?
Only on the show Supernatural.
Yeah. We've never seen a portal open up and go round and glowing and something come out of it. No, but we have, and I don't know if we'll ever see that, but we can
Get it on video if you do.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll hand the camera to David, and you'll get a first person walking into it.
There you go. Just tie a rope to him.
Yeah. The only thing that we get is the lights flashing, and there's a video. We take is this a portal? I don't think it's a portal, but so I told this on a podcast a couple weeks ago, and I told it on Jimmy Blanton's a couple weeks ago. Also, shout out to Jimmy Blanton. I love that guy, by the way, if he's watching. So my wife, me and David take her for the first time because she's telling me, "You're crazy. There's nothing out there. Why do y'all do this?" Well, we do it because I'll say this, we do it because we want to find out, and we do it for the people that aren't able to get out there and do this. And that's our main thing, is like, there's people that would love to get out Bigfoot hunting, they can't. Well, fast forward, or rewind, fast forward to the part where my wife comes, and she's like, me and David tell her nothing about what happens on the woods. She hadn't even watched a YouTube video. She just knows that we do it. And so we're out there, we're probably out there an hour, and then nothing's happening. And then all of a sudden, this is the same night she gets a stick thrown at her. I mean, it's a little stick, but we're sitting there, and she looks at me, and she said, "What was that?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Something flashed." I was like, "Okay." And I looked at David. I was like, "David, did you hear that?" He's like, "Yeah." And then I think she saw another flash, and she was like, what was that? I was like, looked at David. I was like, well, what color was it? She saw and witnessed the green flash that always happens on the property, and we never told her anything about it. Is that a portal? I don't know, but I told her, I was like, okay, you saw that flash, right? She's like, yeah. I was like, the action's about to start. Right after that, the action starts happening. You hear movement. We take her down to the river part, and she gets the little stick thrown at her. So does the green light flash have anything to do with Sasquatch, or is it just a coincidence? No lightning bugs. I mean, this is if you flick a light on and you see the light just blow, that's how quick the flash is. And it looks exactly like that. It's like, and that's it. And come to find out, a couple weeks ago, we found out that this has happened more than once on different locations across the United States and around the world.
And actually, Friday night, me and David seen the same lights again and again on various spots of the hunting property we were on.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of the activity.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that's a portal. I'm just saying that it's an odd coincidence that they happen together. In our videos, I think we've actually caught one or two on video.
One thing, back to the portals again. This was on camera, but I didn't put it in the video. David, explain to them, viewers, do what?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up. I wasn't going to say anything because I didn't see it on the video, but I'll be more than happy about it.
Explain to them about when you went under the portal or arch tree, how you felt and what was going on in that process.
So far, there's 2 spots on this property that we've been on for years. In recent in the last year, one spot has proven to be very difficult for me. I get very drained. I get very tired, disoriented. I do not feel well physically, mentally, spiritually, all the way around. It's just, I say it's bad juju. Okay. And it's been twice on camera. It has really zapped me. And so I don't like that area. So now right up above this area, not more than maybe a football field's length, maybe, maybe two, there's another spot. We've been there for a while, and we noticed I said, hey, it's an arch, and it just happens to be in one of the spots where we have a lot of activity. And there was a limb laying against it that we haven't seen there before. And we were joking about the portal. I mean, we weren't really taking it serious. And I said, well, I'm going to walk through it, and I don't care. I'm telling you, I don't know what it was. Now, did I go somewhere? Nope. But the moment I stepped under the archway of this, what we were joking about being a portal, I'm telling you, I couldn't stop giggling and laughing. This tingly sensation was all over my body. I felt really good. To be honest with you, I may have a few secret health issues that we don't talk about on camera. All of that stuff, there was no pain. There was no nothing. I felt wonderful, and I couldn't stop laughing about it. And so I said, Tate, can you not feel that? And then, so I walked back out on the little trail, and Tate goes in there, and it's no big deal to him. He felt a little something, but was he trying to for me? I don't know. So then I'm like, I want to go back in there and I want to feel it. And then next thing you know, I can't quit giggling again. And it felt like an energy shower. It felt fantastic. And I can't explain it any other way. Do
you guys have trail cams set up out there to document any things that happens while you're not there?
There are some trail cams. Unfortunately, it has been our experience, the more trail cams you set up, the less activity you get. We don't have a lot of great success with trail cams.
Nobody does.
Nobody does. Nobody does.
Don't feel bad. Nobody's getting it.
Yeah, no, we've had moments with them, but most of the time, no, it drives the activity and them away.
The only trail cam picture is the one whenever we was joining in, and we've heard it before. We've heard it like the what was his name? Joe, Bigfoot Joe, or something like that. David, the elderly man. We went and and people said, "Man, that's a porcupine. That's a porcupine." But a porcupine, that's the best trail cam picture we think that you could get of possibly a porcupine. To me, if you look at the range, would have been about this big on the camera. That thing was, I don't know. That's the best one I think that we've went and investigated that I've seen. But I mean, it could be. We're not 100% what it is. But
I want everybody to understand technology.
Yeah.
Technology is a lot more powerful today than it was 20 years ago. 20 years ago, it was more powerful than it was 40 years before that. The more power you put into a device, the louder that device becomes. And when I say that is, everything has its own frequency. Okay. Dogs hear in a completely different frequency than we do. I believe that Bigfoot, Sasquatch, whatever you want to call them, I believe the stronger that you put a device out there, the more they can detect it, hear it, smell the batteries sizzling. I don't care how you want to say it. We've seen lots of good trail footage of them behind this device, destroying it, digging up battery packs that are buried 2 feet in the ground so that they can't hear the sizzle. So they have an ability to sense this stuff out. Now, where we were in a full disclosure, deep South Mountain State Park. Okay. These people invited us on their property. The day we got there, we actually saw a wolf running through the property. For people who saying that there's no wolves in North Carolina, bunk on that. There are, and they just re-released them. Then now it's public. They announced it to public. They've released wolves into the North Carolina mountains, just so everybody knows. to control the coyote population. They released the coyotes to control the deer population. So anyway, having said all that, these people brought us up there after a year and a half of talking whether they should show anybody this photo or not. The photo was shown to us in 2016. Okay. The photo was taken in June of 2016. The same night we were there with another Sasquatch group hunting this area that, as the crow flies, would have been just 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles away from this guy's property. They butted up against each other. The trail cam that they had in the woods, now in 2016, this trail cam was a 90s model trail cam. It was some of the very first SD card technology available. That's how old this thing was. Okay. They had that footage. They took it in October, or they took it in June, went and retrieved the trail camera in October, and didn't look at the footage until the I guess late winter of 2017. They didn't even know what they had on there. And the reason that thing is so blurry is it's a picture of a picture. These people, he downloaded the content and erased the SD card. You know, back then that's what you did. Nowadays, no. So they get this picture, they print the picture out, and the digital file is no longer available. And you always want that digital file. So the very best thing we had was a blurry picture that was taken from the trail cam that was printed at Walmart. Okay. So you didn't have an opportunity to go in and look at the original digital photo to be able to clean it up and edit it from there. And that's why it's such a blur and such a sweep, because this thing didn't take a very fast picture. It took it walking through a frame, and that's why it's blurry. But you can clearly, when you start looking at that picture, you can see the leg muscles, you can see the clenched fist, and you can see the elbow.
Do you got that picture, Nikki?
Yeah, I do. I kind of wanted to go through the the hoax video first.
Yeah, let's go.
But it because I do have that picture and video queued up in a little bit. Before we get to that trail cam photo, there's a lot of people who have come into the chat now, and this is the North Carolina Squatch Watchers. We have David Martin, Tate Fulbright, and Taylor Cook here with us, and for lack of a better term, try to defend their video that was taken by Phil Poling and said to have hoax, that he caught a Bigfoot research team hoaxing. Now, I hadn't played the footage yet because I thought it was real important that we got to the meat and potatoes of what the group was about and their beliefs before we got into it. But now that we've got a full boat of people, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play that real quick, just a short segment of what was actually done on Poling's.
That I don't show the channel or person's names here. I think that it's irrelevant to the information, and frankly, they do have a bit of a following, and I don't wish to upset anyone unnecessarily. Sure, you can trace it down, but I'm not going to give that information to you from my end. I did check their info page, and you can read it if you want. Nowhere does it say it's just for entertainment purposes. This title says it all. We think we saw a cloaked Sasquatch or ghost. Bigfoot throws rock at us in creek. Well, it looks to me like they hoaxed, and it's in their video due to a screw-up in editing. So we begin with their claims of spotting a cloaked Bigfoot, and you will see a team member then throwing a rock into the creek as if it was done by a Sasquatch. If you are a fan of theirs and wish to cuss me out or disagree with my findings, just leave it in the comments where it will stay. I will not delete them.
You smell that? Did you see it?
Apparently y'all did, and I was too busy running my guns.
Oh my God, did we just run up on a cloaked?
I don't know.
Okay, so let me film. I want to film you too.
You saw it too,
David. Oh my God.
I'm trying not to blind anybody. Y'all calm yourselves and collect your thoughts. We just had a very extreme incident.
2 black feet.
It looked kind of like a black rabbit just kind of skittering
2
through
of
here.
them. Bang, 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 behind each other. Just it looked like it was doing it, and went off into there. Black light.
Okay.
It was like we ran up on a ghost, and the bottom half of the ghost. See, whenever you this is where it gets scary to me because cloaked Bigfoot.
Okay. We were just talking about interdimensional beings.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was going to say something.
I'm going up on the.
There's the rock.
This is the money shot.
Yeah.
Okay, that was.
Oh my God.
So we have a Sasquatch over here. We get down.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop
Okay,
that there.
one thing I want to say about the whole video that he posted, whether he took it or somebody sent it to him, when the whole cloaked part of the Sasquatch, whatever that theory was, that was at the end of our video. That was not at the beginning.
No.
And when Taylor and Tate, because they do most of the editing, because trust me, you want them to do the editing, okay?
I don't know,
Yeah.
Dave. Screw it up. You might want to try it.
Well, but they'll put something to get you interested at the front, maybe a 30, 45 second minute video part of it, and then you get into the full hunt. And of course, we're in the woods for hours at a time, and we got multiple cameras, so we're only putting in, edited content at best. So the sad part is when I throw that rock, it doesn't do justice to what we heard from the rocks coming uphill down, landing in the creek. I mean, they were loud, and that's why, Tate's reaction is priceless because, it's like, oh my God. It's clearly something is there. I threw that rock uphill, landing on dry ground over a creek.
You can hear
Okay. You could hear the thump and the thud of that rock hitting. That's why I wanted it so big so we could hear it. So the return activity we got, those rocks landed in the river. In the creek that we were at. We were in a brand new part of some property that has been made available to us, and we were awestruck at the activity that we were having. So, but I'll just leave it there, and then we can talk about it. So,
Right. And you don't get, even when I saw that video the first time, you can clearly see Tate looking at where you threw the rock. And then when the other one hits the water, he turns back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Behind him. He's
to his left.
Yeah. He's watching what you throw. And then a big splash comes from behind him. The reaction is just, it's there. You can't, it happened.
Yeah.
And we hope if everybody looks at the video that we're seasoned enough to be sure to let people know, guys, Taylor, Tate, whoever's with us, hey, I'm throwing a rock. I don't want anyone to have a reaction to me or me have a reaction to somebody else when we think it's a Bigfoot. Okay, that was me. I threw the rock, and everybody's okay. Hey, great, that's wonderful. That way the reactions that we get, we know are genuine. We always notify each other. That way it's in the film footage. That way when they're actually going back and doing editing, they're like, oh yeah, David announced that sound we heard there, that was David throwing a stick or the rock in the river or beating on the tree. We always announce that just for our own selves so we can go back and track it during editing. That's just kind of a no-brainer.
I've heard that from multiple people that you guys do that. And I didn't know that beforehand. It was just one of those things, But I do have a question about the cloaking Bigfoots. With that right there, do you think it's possible that it was just maybe a couple of rabbits or something that kind of spooked and kind of went off yonder? Did you find any prints or anything? Any smells? Any sounds?
They were like flat to me, like a flat look. Like, was it Cloak Bigfoot? I don't know. I was just had it on my mind because me and Tate had watched. We'd done a video on one a couple weeks before, and I was like, I've never heard of that before. But then we get out there, and that's the first time we'd ever seen a ghost anomaly take a left. Was it a ghost, Cloak Bigfoot, 2 black rabbits? I have no clue.
Well, here's why we say what we say on camera. Now, when we proclaim stuff on camera, we leave it out for the viewers, like everyone here, to decide. We don't necessarily say this is what it is. It's written in stone. This was a Bigfoot. This is a Cloak Bigfoot. No, we speculate what we think it might be, and then everyone else can decide, because that's the beauty of it. Everybody has their own opinion in this field.
Well, did you put cloaking in the title though?
Or ghost.
Or ghost, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Debunk rabbit theory.
going back to the initial sighting, the reason I refer to it as rabbits is because it was 2 black spots that were on the flashlight, in the beam of the flashlight, and they were moving really fast, and then they dart like a rabbit does off to it'd be our right, but it's left of the trail. And coincidentally, when we stop and have our moment and start looking around, here again, another tree bent structure to look like a portal is there. Fast forward a week or 2 later, when we go back and we're crossing that area again on the trail where we had that experience, we happen to look up, and probably 8 foot in the air off of a tree branch, there was a twig that was snapped and just hanging there right above that portal and where we had our cloak sighting. So it's stuff like that we pay close attention to, and it's just something we can't make up. That's why we just said what we said. And, you know, if we say Cloak Bigfoot and people get upset, I'm sorry. I mean, we're throwing it out there.
We're actually running out of titles to name our videos.
We mean to.
Well, some people might think of that as like a clickbaity type of stuff of putting something on there that it's subjective. We didn't get a witness, but subjective, and so I mean it could lead people down. That it was. You are alleging that it was cloaked and stuff, but. I mean, that's good that you guys are open to it. It could easily be a couple of forest critters as well.
But that's the whole thing. Every video they have, they've always stated that, well, we don't know what this is, but this is what we are experiencing.
I want to debunk rabbits.
Yeah. Well, I think it probably would have had less issues if the rabbit was included in with the cloaking and the ghost thing, because people are just gonna.
You only have 100 characters on a title, so
yeah.
We don't have room saying everything.
Right, and that could be a factor too. I mean, everybody wants to get views on their videos, right?
Yep.
So you have to have keywords in your titles to be able to do that, and that happens,
How about
want
this?
people to clue in on that. You're gonna have titles like what you have on there,
Well,
even if they're a little blown out.
We'll just conclude it right here and say we'll not use Cloak Bigfoot in a title ever again. Save everybody the scrutiny and headache.
And this
well, no, I think it's just I just think if it happened, then yeah, definitely put it in the title. But if you guys are sounding like it sounds like you guys really aren't really sure what you saw because it was dark and it was moving really fast, and so it would have probably been better to not lead it with that, because easily
not really.
Occam's razor would have been a but that's where that's the thing, is we don't want to just solely for the views. We want to present an honest interpretation of what's going on in the actual videos and investigation.
Well, what was Parabreakdown really trying to do when he said, I called a Bigfoot research team hoaxing on that title? Did we really hoax? No. So that could.
Well, that was his interpretation of the information.
He was just trying to get views too, and somebody sent that to him.
I don't consider it clickbait.
Right.
Bait whenever you mention it in the video. If we're talking about cloaked Bigfoot, that's what we mentioned that in the video. Now, if we had put cloaked Bigfoot and never mentioned cloaked Bigfoot, yeah, that's clickbait. We've done this a lot, like to know what clickbait and not clickbait is. If we mention cloaked Bigfoot, there's a cloaked Bigfoot conversation going on in it. That's the only thing I look at.
I get where you're coming from with this. We get what you're saying. We get
100%.
But at the end of the day, that's what we assumed it to be.
Yeah.
We're not guaranteeing it was called Bigfoot. We don't know what it was.
And
we suggested that as an explanation for what we experienced.
Yeah, and what's crazy is he said that we hoaxed a rock. Like,
Yeah.
That's what
Well,
with
the cloaked Bigfoot, do you guys think that even though we can't visually see it, but it still exists in our physical realm? So if it turned and went into the forest there, it would have probably got snagged up on all the foliage back there. It would have made a lot of noise.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. You couldn't hear.
I'm out. I got to jump in.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring everybody back to a common page that we can all agree on. Two things is we talked about our spirituality and things, and I've always felt like that with the group, at certain times I'm allowed to see things that they don't. Okay. Now I was walking in front of these two gentlemen, all right, whom are they are my family. They are my everything. If they were to lie to me, it would destroy me in ways that you would never understand. Okay. So I had a flashlight. Matter of fact, everybody had new flashlights because I gifted it to them. Yeah. So we had the whole place lit up like Christmas. There was nothing. We weren't filming. We were actually goofing, talking about girls. Okay. All right. For everybody out there in Bigfoot world, Tate is single. And that's what we were talking about. So when they had that whatever it was they saw, it was meant for Tate and Taylor, because I did not see it with my flashlight in full light up mode gear. It was not rabbits. It was not small animals. Whatever it was not meant for me to be seen. And I have never. Now, I've seen Taylor so scared that I didn't know what we were going to do. Now, Taylor has since then grown up and is just as solid as a man as I am, and he'll stand up against anything. I have never seen Tate Fulbright shaken ever until that day. And I've seen him go through horrible relationships that have shaken him to his core. I have never seen him scared until that day. And that's why when I told them to calm down and collect themselves, I knew that this was a serious moment for them. So we don't know what they saw. And certainly there are people out there that know far more about this than we do. And that's why we opened it up for conversation. We want to talk about portals. We want to talk about interdimensional beings. We were at the Harlan, Kentucky. Oh Lord, I don't know if I can say this. We were at the Harlan, Kentucky CryptoCon with y'all just said his name, Jimmy Blanton.
Jimmy Blanton.
And we were up there and we were talking. And we were talking about some things that are very, very real to me. And she said, because there's a lot of times we won't talk about the lights. And she said, you mean like the ones that are with you now? I'm telling you, there's people that know more than we do. There are people who have gifts that can see things that we can't, understand things that we're never meant to comprehend. I have had people call me on my cell phone thousands of miles away to tell me what's going on at that specific moment in my life. And I have fainted on my own couch how they knew I was going through that and dealing with what I was dealing with. We have other teams that are really close to us in the community that have pulled me aside and said, you probably don't need to go back to this area because you have gifts that the rest of your team doesn't. And that's why when you get closer to these areas, you get sick because these things want what you have. And without people sharing knowledge with us, we don't know. And that's when I tell people, if you're going to go out here and be involved in the paranormal part of it, you better know what you're doing or you should stay home. And the guys will tell you there are certain times they'll say, I want to go do this on the paranormal. And I'm like, I can't do it. I'm tapping out. I don't want to be a part of it. And then they'll yield and say, well, if David doesn't want to do it, we probably shouldn't do it. And so we only do what we feel comfortable with. And again, that's why one of the first real paranormal shows we did, our gourd was blue. we had activity that just sent us. We're like, what in the world? But it was a situation where what we were dealing with was we didn't feel like there was any harm meant to anyone. There was a story that needs to be told, and we just feel like that this entity wants its story told. It wants the truth out there, and that's it. But that's, we've got that video up for everybody to watch too. I don't know what clickbait they used to put that one out. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding.
No, I didn't mean like clickbait, but it's just, yeah, you kind of.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
But I have to say, David, you put out a video after that, and both of you guys, you created or put out the follow-up video that was really good. I mean, it was.
Thank you.
Is that the one on screen right now?
Yeah, the one on screen right now. So I want to play this one.
Yeah, once I saw this, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was a big mistake.
And so I'm gonna go ahead and go over and play this because
we really are running out of titles though.
Yeah, well, for me personally, it's kind of like I'm very particular about certain things, and because I always try to want the honesty most of all in this subject. I treasure it, and so I'm just a little weird like that. So, but yeah,
you're good. Yeah, you're good, man.
Hey everybody. Oh man, have we got one for you. First off, this behind me is not a real Bigfoot. For anybody out there who may misunderstand who we are and what we're about, this is a tin cutout on my property. And yes, it has scared me twice while mowing. But neither time did I ever think it was a real Bigfoot. Okay? All right. For all of our fans out there, thank you for supporting us. For Sasquatch Chronicles, thank you for all you've done. But what we really want to make sure everybody understands, we will not hoax. Watch our videos. Watch us go back and debunk our own evidence. Do not take our product, put it on your show, clip it where you've got me throwing a rock, where, by the way, you've got me, Tate, and Taylor throwing rocks all the time to communicate with them. Duh. All right? But don't take a video and say, they left it in by mistake. And here you can see this guy's got a rock in his hand and he's going to throw it. And look, the other guy goes, it's a Bigfoot, it's a Bigfoot. You didn't watch the video. And if you think we're upset, we are. Because here's the problem with it. We are the North Carolina Squatch Watchers. We put our testimony on the line. And if you think my faith in Christ doesn't come before anything else, well, mister, you've got another thing coming. My testimony means everything to me. And if I go on camera and willfully lie and create a video to mislead our fan base, that ruins my testimony. And that's something I will never do. I will walk away from everything before I denounce Christ as my Savior. Testimony means everything. We are the NC Squatch Watchers. We're not hoaxers. We never have, and we never will.
That was a real handsome guy. Who was that? Well spoken.
I'm going up on the ridge line. Okay, that was.
Oh my God.
So you do hear the splash.
We have a
really
Sasquatch
good.
over here. Tay, can you get in close?
Give me the camera.
Hang on, I'm coming. Oh, hey, I'm coming with you.
Oh, you coming? Come on.
Yeah, hell yeah.
No.
You gonna take?
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm gonna get wet, but get
Man, my feet were cold.
You good?
Gotta get some waterproof boots, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Well, I think really, going forward, if people want to, do stuff like this, as far as try and call out hoaxers, maybe we should ask them first. Ask the people, like in the comment section.
Yeah.
Okay, that was.
What's crazy? David throws it way to the right, and then something happens way to the left. And you're
Well,
like,
what kills me is I'm
going
hearing
on
the
the
splash in the
ridge
river
line.
really good. I mean, on the YouTube channel, I didn't hear it that good.
Okay, that was.
That's I'm excited all over again.
Okay, here's the big rock landing on the bank.
Take made sure to show people.
Well, police on trial.
What's crazy is you can hear something hit right before he lets the rock go.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect pizza. One more time, Tate. One more.
Hey, on trial.
Need to hit it home.
Once. Oh man, I was hoping to get it again.
Okay, that was.
Oh my God.
That just is phenomenal. I didn't realize the splash in the creek was so profound. It picked up really well on camera.
Yeah.
Okay, that was.
Oh my God.
You can tell it's like coming down in, not rolling in to
Yeah,
the
it's
water.
uphill. I'm throwing downhill up.
Yeah.
Okay, that was.
Oh my God.
Okay, that was.
Oh my God.
They had to take a huge bounce. A huge one.
It would have, yeah, it would have had to gone over Tate's head.
Yeah.
Okay, that was.
Oh my God.
Okay, that was.
Oh my God.
Hey, how many times you gonna say, "Oh my God"?
Oh my God.
That would be pretty scary though.
Yeah.
I'm going up on the ridge
I was
line.
if I get hit.
Okay, that was.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah, you know,
So
it just
you
seems.
guys get the gist of that, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's clearly two rocks,
Yeah.
different tones and everything, coming from two different directions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. I don't think that it's any sort of attempt at a hoax or anything like that. I think it's just a complete misunderstanding
Yeah.
with a lack of information. And it's a really good lesson for us all to, again, you know, to try and do the due diligence on, you know, getting all the information before we come to a conclusion. You know, something that we could do in the future is ask you guys, like I did in the comments, hey guys, what's up? You know, and you guys responded great. You guys even did a follow-up video, and that's what should happen. You know, if there are questions about the videos or something,
Yeah.
you know, maybe we shouldn't go make a video calling them hoaxers and stuff and try, you know, which could really ruin someone's credibility in this subject when they get that label on them. So I think we really need to be careful about it going forward, including myself too. So
Like
it's a good learning lesson.
Yeah, like even me and Tate, like we'll get videos sent to us, and now like we never really say, "Oh, they're hoaxing." We'll disagree with it, but I just think, like you were saying, man, it takes. If you call someone a hoaxer, you could ruin everything for them, like everything. Especially if he would have had a huge following of 1 million people, and he would have said that whether they would have come watch their channel or not, it could have ruined everything for us.
Destroyed us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me take a moment here. Pat, Squatch Talk, Pat. They weren't throwing rocks at Bigfoot. They were throwing rocks near the river in hopes to get a reaction from something out in the woods. Okay. They didn't see a Bigfoot and decided to chuck a rock at him. Okay.
It's again, this is another great example of a lack of information coming to a conclusion that we shouldn't be coming to, and why we should get more information before we come to a conclusion and go publicly announce it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he says something is this. They're not saying they have proof of anything. Okay. They're not saying this is evidence of anything. They are showing you that they go out, boots on the ground, and they record what they find out there in the woods in an area they find very squatchy. Okay. Yeah. That they know that there are other things in that woods, be it Bigfoot, ghosts, spirits, God, whatever. Okay. And I'm kind of taking offense to you putting what you're putting in the chat.
I don't see.
Lucky I can't see the chat.
Yeah.
Who is this? Who is it?
It's Pat Turner from Squatch Talk. But
is that the was he?
Why would you assume Bigfoot was right in front of them?
Yeah.
They have all their cameras running.
He was at the conference with you guys.
At the Virginia Bigfoot conference.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys probably got to meet him while you were there.
Yeah.
So this is there's no habitat.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no habitat. Well, why is he on here? There's no habitat for Bigfoot. Bigfoot can't be real. I remember that vividly. And you want to talk about confusing? We're in an area that has multiple creeks and streams that form the PD River Basin. Okay, this is a pretty large river. The Henry River is so large we can't cross it without fear of getting swept away. So there's a water source. It's clearly fresh. We know that there's rabbits, deers, all kinds of small. There's squirrels. There's
Jimmy,
wild
you don't
onions.
have to block his words because I want to see what he has to say.
No, he's fine. But he got up there. He got up there and told all of this really strange stuff about how Bigfoot couldn't ever exist because there's no habitat. If Bigfoot is a flesh and blood animal, I assure you that there is more than enough habitat for a large bipedal carnivore to live in the United States forest undetected for a very long time. I live in a small township of Taylorsville, and I tell everybody it's very difficult to say I live right in the middle of town when there are bears that play in my creek behind the house. We see deer in our front yard, and there's coyote walking down the street. Trust me, there's plenty of food around here. There's plenty of food for these wild animals to be more than happy. North Carolina sustains a very large black bear population. And they're not just eating nuts and berries all the time. They're taking small animals. They're eating fish. Once in a while, they'll get a deer. I mean, guys, trust me, there's a habitat for them. So,
well, you guys are up there at the Appalachian Mountains. So, I mean, that's like a very robust habitat for them.
Yeah, I mean, I had a 110-pound deer take out a 2018 Dodge Challenger all on its little lonesome. Completely totaled it. So, yeah.
Tragedy. That sucks.
I wish Bigfoot would have ate that deer before it got my Dodge. Hey, man, it's good to hear from you, Pat. Man, that makes me feel great. Hope you're doing well.
We're not picking any enemies, but I mean, like we said, everybody is entitled to their own opinion or whatever.
Well, I just don't think he had enough information collected to draw the conclusions that he was coming to. Yeah, I think he came in late. Yeah.
But then again, why do people speak if they don't watch the full thing? That's the only thing we don't get.
Well, you said it well.
The point of this whole show, get all the information before.
Yeah.
Look, I don't have my Bigfoot book of shame because I don't try to do my research before I do a show. Okay.
And Nikki,
question.
Can I say something real quick too, Nikki? Everyone, and this is me not taking up for the guy, but I want to talk good about him because he was boots on the ground, and him and David don't see eye to eye, but you never once saw the NC Squatch Watchers go and bash Fred Caney. And I don't want to bring him up.
I was
but
just going to bring that up.
He has a lot of stuff that happened to him that's happened to us. I would never come and bash him, but that's just me. That's just me saying that.
Privately,
that.
there are a couple of people in the Bigfoot community that were so far out in left field that we would have conversations of just how outlandish the stuff that they said was.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we never went on camera. We never publicly, because we don't know. We're not behind their camera. We're not in their camp. We're not on their property. We don't know.
Yeah.
But the more we put boots on the ground and the more investigations we're involved in, we look at each other and go, you know what? Some of the crazy crap that Fred Caney has said, we're scratching our heads now going, could he have been true? I mean, so we don't, just because we don't agree with someone doesn't mean that they're hoaxers or liars. I mean, we're going to have to debunk it for our own selves before we're going to call anybody that. But I was just going to bring that up because there's another one. I'm not even going to mention his name. He's the only reason that I have ever heard the term cloaked Bigfoot. Okay. And the more we're in the woods, the more he doesn't look crazy to us anymore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he was actually going to let us come on his property, but he was so afraid we were going to bash him.
Yeah.
Or say what he was saying wasn't true. And I'm like, we're not like that. We won't even bring cameras if you don't want us to.
Yeah.
We just want to have the experience that you did, if and indeed that experience existed. And he graciously rescinded his offer, and we didn't think ill of him. I mean, we've got opportunities to bring people on our property, and sometimes we have to make the decision not to because they might not have our best interest at heart. And we just have to leave it at that and move on.
Yeah. But I hated the name drop. I'm sorry to make that name drop on your channel. But then again, we get out there and we're thinking, Nikki, and we're like, holy crap. I mean, this is
well, a clock is right. A broken clock is right twice a day. So
yeah,
exactly. Brad might be right about a couple of things.
Yeah.
Oh, by no means not everything.
Huge difference, okay, with like who you're stating and what they've claimed. Okay, that if there were 35-foot tall Bigfoots wandering around in the Virginia forest, I think we would see their shit because it would be the size of a dump truck.
Something.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Something.
Not happening.
Okay.
So the clock's on the wrong time.
No. So we're on the same page.
Yeah.
We're on the same page because, I mean, it's now. Don't get me wrong. Okay, let's go back to David and Goliath. How big was Goliath? Goliath was a giant. Was he 10 feet tall? Was he 20 feet tall? Was he 30 feet tall? We don't know. So while at the same time I'm giggling, I'm laughing because, yeah, a 25, 35 foot tall Bigfoot is really hard to believe. I don't know how big a giant really is. I know personally I have laid eyes on at least an 8 to 9 foot tall Sasquatch with my own eyes. I could go back and show you the steps where it went up on the bank. We could show you the breaks in the trees where it moved the limbs so it could watch us.
Do you think it's a male or a female?
Wood booger.
Oh, I believe there's both.
I don't mention them ever. This came up because of what they were talking about. Okay.
No.
But Wood Booger, you also weren't there when he threatened my life, or she.
Oh my goodness!
So that I will end it there.
Yeah.
And the minute that happened, I had to cut ties with them and everything they did.
Yeah,
because I don't appreciate.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have.
They pretty much lose all credibility at that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No respect. Okay? There's no respect there.
Yeah.
But I haven't mentioned his name in 5 years. How long? That was.
We're going to defend you on that then, because that's not right for anybody to do. So
no, it's not. And I've got the videos still to prove it in case anything had happened with that, but it never did, and I just let it go.
Wow.
But
well, if they watch this,
I have my reasoning.
Well, if they end up seeing this, no one on this video will respond to a video they make. That conversation's done over with. Like, None of
It's
us
done.
will.
It's over.
Yeah.
They've moved
None
on,
of us will respond to it.
and they're back friends with other parties we all were, all together with. So, and
Yeah.
that's good. And as a matter of fact, last year when I went to the Virginia Bigfoot Con, I wanted to meet them.
Me too.
I wanted to say hi, what's up? I wanted to go to the Cole Road, and I wanted to go see where the He Squatch is at. I actually didn't have enough time because I gave myself a week out there, and it still wasn't enough time to do everything I wanted to do. But so I don't, it's over and we've moved on. But and that happens in the community as well. You follow
Mhm.
people and you unfollow people, and you
Yeah.
find new people, and
That's
you
right.
meet people,
Yeah.
And that's okay too. Yeah.
Yeah. I
and
mean,
enjoy the fellowship, people.
yeah.
Okay.
We lose 50 subscribers a week. We gain 50. I mean, people just. I mean, that's human nature. You get older people and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like what you guys are doing though, how you guys go out and just present what you're doing, like for the people who can't go out there. I kind of do the same thing. It's you do it more for them and show them the area, what the experience would be out there, in the woods and areas that, as Bigfoot is alleged to be at. And I enjoy bringing people that content as well. So
Yeah, we should link up one day. For
Yeah.
sure.
yeah. Oh, I'd love to go
Yeah.
back. I'm in Washington State, but I'd love to go. If I was ever back east, man, I'd definitely go out with you guys. You guys look like a lot of fun. Go out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're a little far off.
Yeah.
Or are we far off?
Yeah.
One, yeah.
Far place. Yeah.
Why does nothing? Oh, there's oops. See, and I bypassed it.
We are on location to talk about one of the best birthday presents that I have
We're gonna
ever
circle
received.
back to that trail
We've
cam
been
photo.
teasing folks on
Okay.
our Facebook
It's
page
at the
that they
very
can
end,
guess what
for
this
sure,
is,
too.
and well,
Yeah.
you might get the reveal today. But Rex
Let
asked
me
us
see
to
if
come
I
on
can,
location today and meet with this individual, and I'm going to let him introduce himself for the camera and all the folks at home.
This is the owner of the
I'm,
pic.
Joe Hunt. I
Yeah.
live around here for
Hey, I got his name
several
right.
years now, and I was hunting one day and had my camera up, and whatever it is, come
I'm
by.
gonna go ahead and skip to the
About
picture.
it, and people that looked at it, some says it was a bear, and some says it's not.
Oh,
So
come on.
it's just
You can do it.
Okay.
Okay, that's
Pad of the foot. And there's a bend right here in that foot. There's a joint. Just so
You
you
can
guys
do it.
know.
Oh
Our
God, it
joint's
won't.
right there on
it's at the very end.
Okay. The pad of the
Well,
foot.
it's because of
There's a
where
bend
my
right here in that foot. There's a joint.
my
just so you guys know. Our joint.
there. Oh shit! I still missed it. It's it's because the
We'll get
little
it.
tabbies to move the. Oops. I want it to freeze right there.
Hey,
and
Nikki,
it-
how big of a
Yeah.
wood burning can you do?
I don't. Well, the one that I
Okay.
um.
Pad of the foot. There's
Come
a bend
on.
right here in that
Pause.
foot. There's a joint.
How do I? It won't do it.
There's a good
Okay.
one.
I'll just leave it right there. um, the one you saw at the Bigfoot Con that I gave to Daniel to do the raffle. That's the biggest I've done.
Okay. Because I was wondering if you how big you could do. I'd pay for the shipping and everything, but we'll talk.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll talk.
Curious Cryptid. It's a Vermont miniature spiny Bigfoot.
See, so if you look at the ground right there, you see the leaves on the ground or the mulch or whatever. That's the only thing that throws it off to me. That couldn't be a porcupine. That's the only thing. And then the trees in the background, because that camera would be shooting for deer. So deer would be, I don't know. David, you can explain it. It's hard.
Yeah, I mean, you can go back and look at the area where this photo was taken. I mean, it would be a little hard now. It'd be overgrown because it's not well traveled anymore. But at the area where this thing was taken, from what we estimate would be the head height on it, it would be anywhere between 7.5 and 8 foot tall. Okay. I've taken this picture and just a picture of a picture, if you will, and you can look back down there just below the legs, and you can see all that real fine hair where there's absolutely no distortion. And when you blow that thing up, you can see the muscular portion of the leg. You can actually see the buttocks on this thing. The elbow is very clearly defined and a clenched fist. When you're looking at their picture, which is the best one, you know, the problem is they won't let us have that to digitally scan it. So we have to take a phone picture of it, if you will, and it becomes even blurrier.
Yeah.
And so it really is. You can see the pads on the feet of this creature. Okay. You can see the separation between the legs, and you can see the knee bend. It's clearly an upright bipedal animal walking.
What do you guys make of those long lines there, like around the back area? Like up towards the top, you see those long...
See, it looks like to me that it was in motion, and maybe that was some leaves on its back, and they're like blurred, stretched. You know, like how you'll move fast on the camera, and it looks like your hand's like one big... I don't know how to explain it, but that it was in a motion, and I think it's a blur, whatever it is. But I see what you're talking about, and I see where that could be like,
just in observation here, I don't recall if I've ever seen this photo before, but yeah, I mean, you would definitely want to think porcupine for sure, you know, because they can, you know, walk bipedal for a short period of time, and those do look like quills. It's just the information is really not there to say either way on what it is. For me personally, I always go back to what is known, which I would probably label it a porcupine or undetermined or something like that.
Oh yeah.
But that's a really good photo, though. I mean, if I you know had my game cam and saw that, man, I'd be like, oh wow. You know, you don't get good treats.
It's still
like
unusual,
this.
Right? It's still
it's a good photo. It is. It's a good photo.
Even if you say, oh, it's something smaller like a porcupine or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we're all.
How often do they just go strolling down bipedal?
I've never seen one on a trail cam.
I have seen some do that.
Yeah,
but very fast, and it's just up and down. You know.
Yeah, it's not on a trail cam like this, no.
Motion.
But that's
clearly moving.
I'm the like the resident agnostic skeptic, so to speak. I haven't seen one personally. I'm very desperate to see one. I'm like that dude on 40-year-old virgin, where it's like I'm so desperate to get lucky with seeing one. So until then, you know, I'm like the resident skeptic person that's like always tries to put up alternative options on what it possibly could be, but also realizing there's only a certain point that you could, you know, come to a conclusion with, you know, the information presented.
Well, I'll let everybody jump in on this one too. I'm not aware of porcupines being indigenous to North Carolina.
Really?
Yeah, I've never heard of a porcupine being in North Carolina. Period. It's never. I mean,
they were everywhere in North America.
I don't know. I know they're in Maine though. Or in Vermont.
Oh my God. I ran into a porcupine so big, I swore it was like the size of a VW bug. It was huge. Walking like on its knuckles like that. It was frightening.
Oh wow. There is no record of porcupines in North Carolina.
We just Googled it.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Is there any chance that you guys can bribe the person with getting the original copy of the file there, like bribe him with some cookies or some Girl Scout cookies?
Okay,
guys.
I hope he's still alive. I mean, we haven't.
Yeah,
honestly,
it's been a while. Yeah,
how COVID, like, I don't know.
We haven't had contact with the guy.
It would,
so
Jimmy, that would be about 7.5 to 8 foot tall for this particular creature. We guesstimated as everything we could dig up, we're going to say between 450 to 500 pounds.
Is there any other photos that he presented with this that had any other animals that we can possibly use to scale?
No.
This is the only photo, and the area for the frame is very narrow, and I want to think that it only took a picture every. Don't quote me on this because I'm going to tell you from what I think I know, not what I truly know. the frame speed on this thing was like every 15 to maybe 20 seconds. So, I mean, this was a very old trail cam. I mean, it took a picture, everything goes dormant, then there's movement, and then it times itself up, and then it takes in the picture. There is no video for this trail cam. It did not have that type of technology.
Oh.
So that's why this thing it was blurry to begin with because it was stepping through the frame. Okay, this was a very old trail cam that should be in the Smithsonian at this point.
Well,
Wow.
our phone is actually flashing 10% battery in this.
Yeah.
Oops. What did I do?
We are on location.
So, to be able to get in touch with the Squatch Watchers, if you have any kind of inquiries or want to get in touch with them, you can reach them at taylorcooknc@gmail.com or tfulbright3@yahoo.com.
Yeah.
And get in touch with them.
We want stories in North Carolina, 100%. Or we'll go to Georgia, Virginia, Tennessee, West Virginia. We'll try to keep it in those states.
South Carolina.
Yeah, South Carolina.
Remember, guys, gas is $4 plus a gallon now.
Ooh.
David
Yes.
got it.
So what's coming up for the NC Squatch Watchers?
So May the 13th and 14th, we have the Marion Bigfoot Festival. It's like one of the biggest one, probably the biggest one in North Carolina. Then we got a podcast coming up this Wednesday with the She Squatchers. And then August the 27th, we're venturing to Tennessee, and we're going to do a Tennessee festival that's got a pretty good lineup of people. We're excited about that one.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And then we're out in the woods every Friday. Well, every Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Monday. We're just one day during the week.
Good recovery there.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like a greatest hits type video that shows all the evidence that you guys have been able to collect over your investigation over the years?
We've made a few sizzle reels.
Yeah.
And to send out, and people. So we've been approached by TV networks. We've made a sizzle reel, sent it out, but TV networks want people that have nothing to do with Bigfoot, or they want a celebrity that has nothing to do with anything
Or knowledge of
it, and so they can coach them to make it fake, and we're just not going to do that. So we do have sizzle reels we can put out.
Well, no, like, because I'm new to your guys' channel, and it's versus trying to go seek out a lot of this evidence that you guys have talked about, which I really want to see. It would be helpful for the people who are now coming onto your guys' channel, especially after this, if you guys did a little video to show like some of these video, like the orbs and lights and some of these different experiences. So, we can kind of all, sharing that. I think that'd be really cool for the new people coming into your channel.
Yeah, it would be. We really need to revisit that.
Brent, you will find on their channel that they debunk their own videos.
Yeah.
They
that's
have a
really
good
good.
one of the one where the Bigfoot head. It looks like a head of a Bigfoot popping out behind the tree that's down. But you go right back to that spot. You pan just like you did before, and bam, it's still there.
Yeah.
And you go up, and it's a stump.
Yeah, we had a viewer thought it was a juvenile Sasquatch head peeking over a log ass in one of the backgrounds of our video, and went back and done a video on it, revisiting it, and debunked it.
Oh, that's awesome. I actually just subscribed. Thanks to Phil, I actually subscribed to your guys' channel. So I haven't had a lot of time, but I want to go check out a lot of your guys' stuff to kind of. That's awesome that you guys debunk your own stuff. I mean, that says a lot about you right there.
Well, and if you want to find it, all of our channels are clickbaited, and I'm just joking.
It's all clickbaity.
But all the titles of our video normally hit on what the activity is in the video. But yeah, we'll definitely put one together and put it out there for everyone.
Yeah, just and it's your interpretation of the evidence. It doesn't mean that you're right, you're wrong, or anything. It's just your interpretation, and people can like it or not. If they don't, well, don't be a jerk about it.
And I'm sure because well, the way we all believe, there's no experts in this field until there's one on a silver platter. Pretty much, I hate to put it that way, but
very true.
And we're not experts, and I'm sure some of the stuff we say is completely wrong, but that's what we believe.
Yeah, I believe that as well.
Yeah. Nice picture, Nikki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great picture.
And I'm tall. They're just really, really tall.
Yeah.
No, and I want to say to Nikki and you guys, I really applaud you guys for coming on here, Nikki, putting the show together and having this type of discussion, because it was needed, and it's a good example for us to all to learn from and to kind of move forward from, and so you guys can get your story out on your side and introduce you to a whole new crowd of people. So good job for all you guys. I mean, you guys did an awesome job tonight, especially with you, Nikki. So
and we respect you, honestly, because you ask the tough questions that need to be asked to researchers. And
yeah.
And it may look like we got heated back, but we love those top questions, and it's like, finally, yes.
We're very passionate and animated about everything we do.
Oh no, yeah, no, it was a cool conversation. It was very cool. I'm the same way. I'm very passionate, and sometimes the questions do need to be asked, and the important thing is how you ask them, and not be accusatory while you do it, and that's something that we can learn from this as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Sounds
definitely.
good.
And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. And you coming on here and, giving your explanations, because that's what we want to hear. And that's why I do this format the way I do, with the live chat. And I hope if anybody's out there and you have some last minute questions you want to send to the boys, put them right now before we.
Because he's probably down to 8% right now on his battery.
Do it now or forever hold your peace. Any last questions?
It's on life support right now, so if it blacks out, we really enjoy it. But
we
if it
still have
blacks
to
out, we
announce
really did enjoy it.
the winner of last week's word search, and I know I did that on my other live the other day, but we have to do it formally here today. And thank you, North Carolina Squatch Watchers. I guess that's it. So I need to do this real fast, and
Oh, sorry.
Donald Fuller was the winner of our last week's. It wasn't a crossword. Last week was the what do you call it? I always forget that.
Pictures.
The word search. The word search last week. And he will be winning the bingo card for the upcoming big game. So congratulations, Donald Fuller.
Donald Fuller. I read every comment you post on their videos, and just know they do get seen, and I am replying to them, and I love your input on stuff, because you put it like it is real, and I just like replying to those. So I do see those,
and he had mentioned that to me. He was a kind of didn't want to put too many negative things at all. And I said, well, they're not negative. You're just asking a question. His main questions had to do with finding hair. If you guys had found any hair in any of the structures or anything that you guys had seen out there.
We did find hair, and we do find hair, but who do we send it to? That's going to give you a real thing, a real whatever back.
Cindy Dosen. There's people that we can hook you up with that could help with analyzing some. Huh?
Yes, definitely.
Please hook us up.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think even Doug Hychek.
Cindy Dosen and Dorby Orcutt. I think he's also taking stuff now, and
yes, and if,
it always comes tricky when it comes down to that, because how much are they going to charge you? Are they going to charge you? What, what's involved in all that?
I think Cindy is for free, but she only analyzes it. She only tells you if it's a known animal. And so I don't think she's going to be able to tell you that it's Bigfoot. I know if it passes that, then you can send it to people like Doug, where he can hopefully fit the bill to have it analyzed, since he's doing the new. Do you guys know Doug Hychek?
No.
He's the producer
what's
of
weird?
Monster Quest.
Yeah, he's a really good resource for the Bigfoot community because he has access to all these people because he's actually doing a hair study now with various people who've collected hair. So if you guys have hair, we'll get you the information so you guys can contact them and so you guys can kind of maybe share evidence amongst each other. So maybe get you guys' evidence verified and stuff. So
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, for sure. So once again, everybody, just a quick update on Leon Thompson. He is doing much better, and our prayers and thoughts are still with him as he's there in the hospital still. And we'll let you know as soon as he's able to move out of there and into some type of rehabilitation. But the GoFundMe is going by, and I think I also put it down in the description. If I didn't, I'll get back to it and put it there for y'all. Any little thing helps. I believe they already got enough for almost 2 months worth of his rent or mortgage, whatever. And he'll need that when he gets home. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll keep him in our prayers.
Yeah.
100%.
And I believe that's it. Thank you, boys. Yeah. I am going to put you behind stage, and then I'm going to bring us to a close. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
Like and share and tell people about my little channel, and let's make it a big channel.
Big.
So thank you, David, so much. Any final words?
No, we appreciate you guys.
Oh, look at cute little baby.
Yeah,
so cute. They grow up so quick. My daughter just turned 18 today, and it's like,
oh wow, oh, happy birthday.
Yeah.
So I did see 2 questions. I'm gonna answer those real quick. We do have a FLIR. We it's not the top of the line FLIR. It plugs into the phone, and then Tate did get those pictures. I'm pretty sure he just hasn't looked over.
I haven't got to look at everything yet. No.
Then I'm done.
I'll get back to
you. Okay, thank
We
you.
need sponsors. It's expensive to hunt Bigfoot.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, you all. We shall see you next week. Love you guys.
Yeah.